We're here today with Derek Games, head coach of Marietta College. Derek, first of all, amazing name, man. Super cool.
Always the first thing I'm told. They're like, "Did you pay for that, or was that like actually your birth name?" And I have to literally break out the driver's license and show them. So yeah,
That's great. So, before we start, can you tell us a bit about your trajectory, how you got to be a head coach in Marietta College?
yeah. So I've been an esports fan roughly since like 2016 when Overwatch came out. Was a gamer my whole life. It's it's my last name. I kind of have to bear that torch, but it's my favorite hobby. But when Overwatch dropped in 2016, roughly, I got really into that. Uh, Put over like 1,000 hours just in like PlayStation, and then I was like, I gotta build a PC because I saw the pros playing on PC, and so built my computer, started to play online on my PC a whole lot more, and just learn a whole lot. And then I saw one day my friend posted on my social media. He was like, "Hey, Marietta College, you went here. They're hiring for an Overwatch coach for the esports program." And I was like, "No way!" So I immediately threw my hat in the bucket, and I started in 2018 with the program as just an assistant Overwatch coach. And I have stuck around like a barnacle on the side of the ship for the since I transitioned into the head coach position in the fall of 2021. And we just completed our first varsity athletics season this year, and things have been going wonderful.
That's great. And how did the school start the program? Was it because this was it student run, and then the university saw potential, and they're like, okay, we'll invest more money, and then we'll get into also like varsity, or was it like what was the transition of the process into having like a
A
like a
full on
club esports
program.
and then a varsity team?
Yes. So the program itself started in 2018 at the club level. I think I got on around the springtime, so things had been kind of chugging along before I had entered onto the scene. Um, Mostly student ran. We had a program director who's still, my boss at the moment, and then they had me and a few other individual volunteer game coaches. And the students each time were like, we need to invest more in this. This is the future. We need a good facility to show off to the students that are coming in and that could participate with us. And so the after the initial investment, they decided, hey, this is something that we want to see stick around and continue into the future. So they were like, what's our next step? And so that next step inevitably was we need to implement some sort of scholarship process into the program. So I think around 2019, we got approval for something around like $1,000 scholarship for students. We're able to give out a couple, but comparatively to other universities, we were still a little bit under where it needed to be. So after continual talks with the admissions department, we got that to bump up to $2,000 a year. Um, we were able to hire on more and more volunteer coaches as we started adding more and more game titles to the program. As of right now, we're at a total of 7 titles. So I take care primarily of Overwatch and Valorant, a little bit of League of Legends here and there, and then we are attempting to get volunteer coaches for every other position. We've got, I think, 80 to 90% of those positions filled. I think it's just one or two more game titles that's needing a coach. But after, they hired me on in 2021, they were like, we need to kind of house this in an area that is viable. So we were housed under athletics, given the varsity title, and here we are today. We got about
Well,
36 students, and over half of those are recruited scholarship recipients.
that's great. And just for students to get like an idea, like what would look like a day to day of a student player, like with since they wake up, going to class, then practice. Like, What would it look like?
So typically, you've got your classes anywhere between 8 a.m. to 3 or 4 p.m.
Hmm.
And then typically I don't like to start practices until around 4 or 5 p.m. that evening. Get everybody a chance to drop their stuff off in their dorms, grab a bite to eat or whatever, and then prep themselves for the rest of the day. And then each individual game title will practice 3 times a week for a 2 hour block. And then typically on Fridays, we have all team meetings where we gather all 7 titles and everybody in the program. And we kind of have a meeting for the first 20 minutes of that where we go over any kind of upcoming events that we've got going on that week, reschedules, matches, any kind of changes to the practice schedule, events we might be running, things like that. And then for the latter 15 to 20 minutes, we'll do esports team development exercises or presentations, and the students have been super receptive to that. And during the height of the season, you could be playing anywhere between 1 to at most 3 games a week. So I always like to tell my incoming students or the people I've got as prospects that it's roughly a 12 to 14-hour commitment per week. Um, Again, we are a varsity athletics program here on campus, so there is a level of expectation and time commitment. But comparatively to your traditional sports, your basketball, baseball, football, and things like that, we are still under the amount of hours that they're putting in per week. But again, that expectation of time commitment is still there, and everybody for the most part has come to me and been like, "Hey coach, I'm playing that much time in my free time anyway, so what's it to if I put it to something more direct and structured." So nobody's ever been like, "Man, 12 to 14 hours for esports, I can't do that," for the most part. So
And do the students get like access to the facilities? Like, is there a certain time or 24/7?
24/7 access to the facility, which we currently have 16 gaming machines in there now, 12 a little bit older Alienware machines. They've got 1080 Ti's in them, and I believe i7 8700Ks. We got those initially with the first purchase of the equipment for the room, so they've treated us really well. But with as much as we've been expanding over the years, we had to acquire a couple more machines last year. So they're newer MSI gaming machines with like 3060s and 11700 processors. Students always fight over the newer ones, especially since they've got like the RGB and everything. They love all of that. And then the facility also contains, we've got 2 Nintendo Switches for the Super Smash Brothers Ultimate Team. We've got a 60-inch Clever Touch board, which I like to compare to just a giant iPad. I can throw game footage or any kind of presentation on there, and I get to be John Madden on Monday Night Football here and draw X's and O's over our game footage, and the students really love that. And then the only other thing in the facility at the moment we've got is our broadcasting station where we showcase all of our matches on Twitch. Um, we're in the process of potentially adding player cam to 5 of the competition machines. That way, during matches, we've got the actual player perspective in game, and then we could have, the player webcam preview in the corner. So we're working diligently to make upgrades and keep ourselves competitive within our facility. And when I say, the students have 24/7 access, they by all means have 24/7 access and have used it as such. I've gone in there at 3 in the morning and there are more people in there than there is during practice some days. I'll walk in it on Saturday morning to get ready for our match day, and there will be somebody asleep on the couch being like, "Yeah, I just was over here all night. It was fun and everything." So 24/7 access, unabridged, and they definitely take advantage of it.
That's great. And well, I can tell you have a lot of passion. But what would you say is the ratio of like students that would that after graduation you think if they shared with you that would like to get a job or like be like an entrepreneur in the esports sector, or on the other side, those players that want to graduate and work in the workforce in their degree? What is the ratio you would say?
From what I'm aware of, our job placement level post graduation is extremely high. I know for many of our graduate or our program tracks that you're involved in internships year 3 or year 4, and a lot of the times from people that I've graduated, uh, the people that they're interning with, or those uh, entities that they're building relationships over with over the 4 years, are likely to see that once you've graduated, and snag you up. So job placement, at least in terms of the overall workforce, is extremely high. I haven't had anybody specifically graduate into something esports related yet, but I've got several students that could definitely go on that path if they wanted to, whether they're sports management degree holder, or graphic design, or even broadcasting and journalism. So we're hoping to rope in some of those departments here more into the program to show the students that they have opportunities within the industry, and they don't have to be pigeonholed into some radio show that nobody's listening to, or something that doesn't fit their
Mhm.
likes.
And are those students developing their like journalism, graphic design, broadcast still skills in your esport program?
By all means, that is definitely something that we like to hold ourselves highly to. Is we approach the student experience here at Marietta College pretty holistically, especially in terms of the esports program. Would I like to say that we're here solely to focus on winning championships and bringing trophies home? Yes, but there, we have to live in the real world a lot of the time. The main reason that you are here at Marietta College or any university should be to get a degree and walk across the stage in 4 years with a diploma in your hand and a great job lined up in the other. So we use our esports program here to springboard the student's success. So whether they are trying to build themselves a portfolio in graphic design, we can provide them plenty of opportunities to make stuff for us here. Or if you're into sports management or communications, broadcasting, you can come. You can be a streamer for us. You can work our shoutcasting or our commentary during streams. There are the amount of connectable job or like placements that you can be put into via the esports industry is crazy. So tons of transferable skills.
That's right. And more like the coaching side. Um, do you or are you thinking about hiring assistant coaches, and how would that be? Like, what would be like a day to day of an assistant coach there in Marietta College?
So assistance wise, I've been trying over the past year, as I acquired the head coach position, to kind of fill every game title with a coach that is specifically catered to that individual title. So, as I said before, I kind of take care of primarily Overwatch and Valorant. Those are my bread and butter. But
Mhm.
I've, in the past year and some change, I've been able to hire a Rainbow Six coach for offense and another one for defense. So we have both sides of the ball taken care of, and they're actually ex Challenger League professionals in Rainbow Six. Uh, don't ask me how I found the one. I literally went to a yard sale here in Marietta, and I gave the dude my business card, and he's like, I played Siege professionally, and my jaw hit the floor. I was like, do you want to come coach for us? And he thankfully said yes, and roped in one of his friends from St. Louis to do so as well. Uh, we have a Rocket League coach that was a part of WVU's team, West Virginia University's. I believe he was the captain of their team for a long time. He's actually my stepbrother, and we're working on getting League of Legends, Fortnite, and Super Smash Brothers taken care of as well. I think we've got a League of Legends one lined up, but typically their day-to-day role is I'll be the guy that's kind of the liaison for everybody, you know, what do we got going on match wise? Do we have anybody that we need to prepare for? Uh, I'll give them the schedule and whatnot, but typically, they're the ones that are making the practice plans. They'll be sitting in the Discord call with everybody. I kind of have my eye on everybody over their shoulder, but paying attention to 36 kids at one time definitely is not my strong suit. So having the other coaches there to kind of keep everybody on task and focused on, a singular goal that day is primarily their duty.
That's right. And like to get more budget for the program, or like to get more benefits for students, like have you done, do you work with brands also? Do you make partnerships that benefit students that cannot maybe potentially in the future bring scholarships to students, or that's something you're working on?
So currently, we are sponsored officially by HyperX. They take care of
Right.
all of our peripherals, so keyboards, mice, headsets, microphones, mouse pads are all provided through HyperX. We are working with Kovacs, the aim trainer, so all of our FPS title players get access to a free copy of Kovacs so that they can do aim training through that. Um, we've partnered with a local community restaurant to kind of boost local exposure. They'll play our matches on their TVs, and we come in during days and they've got like a Nintendo Switch, and we'll kind of play, interact with the restaurant patrons and everything. They've been able to put up a jersey for us in the restaurant. So got some nice local exposure there. And then we've got a couple things in the pipeline. I don't want to necessarily spoil some stuff yet, especially if we haven't confirmed 100%, but we're always actively looking for ways to enrich and just create a better experience for the students by far. So,
Is the restaurant also open 24/7 for the students?
unfortunately, no. As much as I wish they probably do, it is they make amazing pizza, but unfortunately, no.
Oh my god! If they get hungry when they're practicing at 3 a.m.
That would
and
have been.
nobody
I
can
know. I
save
need to work out some
them.
sort of deal.
And also like with like going to class, training, and competition, plus all the hours they put in extra. Um, do some students feel like overwhelmed? And if you have had this situation, how would you guide students into handling the type of pressure, like to have like a more balanced um, college experience?
Yeah, and I would definitely be lying if I said that I didn't have students that, didn't struggle. There's bound to be, something come up during the year, whether that's, grades or something social that, interferes with the student. Um, they're at an extremely, important growth development stage. So they've got a million and one things going through their mind. And sometimes you just need to slow them down and be like, hey, take a breath. We'll make it through. But we'll say the student is struggling academically. One thing that we are implementing this year that I wish we would have done so sooner is uh, implement study tables. So if you're under a certain GPA level, uh, automatically, if you're under a 2.0, you're ineligible to participate within any esports activity until that grades back up above a
Mhm.
2.0. But let's say, the students over the 2.0 still struggling, sitting around like a 2.3 or something. I want them to, be as successful in the classroom as they are outside of it. So if they come to me and they're like, hey, coach, I got a big paper due. I need to take the time. I can't be at practice today. I'm not going to say, hey, you signed a scholarship form that says, hey, you're going to be here. Again, at the end of the day, my one goal is to see you walk across that stage in 4 years with a diploma in your hand. So I'm never going to be like, hey, you can't go do your homework and things like that. But the study tables, if you're sitting at, a certain level, you're required to be at our academic resource center for X amount of hours and be supervised by them to make sure. And not only is that, the supervision just helping to make sure that they're actually doing the work, but the academic resource center has tons of individuals in there that are willing to help you develop a plan to succeed academically. They have all the resources in the world within that facility. So to kind of push them towards that is gonna, I think, create less headache. And as much as the students are probably gonna be like, man, I really don't want to have to go and study in this designated area, I think the results, once we get them, I feel like are going to be, worthwhile. But if the student isn't, let's say they're not struggling academically, then it's more, mental health wise, or they're struggling socially. Um, our Center for Health and Wellness is an amazing place. I've used it myself for times like that, and our therapists and our counselors there are, trained in crisis. They have guided so many students through some extremely tough navigable times that I would trust them with anybody. So um, there are tons of resources on campus to help us, make sure that the student has everything that they need in order to be successful.
Derek, thank you very much, man, for all your detailed responses. Just to wrap it up, like, where can students, parents find you and your program?
So the best way to find us is going to be through our link tree. It is going to be linktree slash Marietta Esports, or if you just do a simple Google search of Marietta College Esports, should be one of the first links available. That's going to house all of our social media accounts: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, as well as any sort of information that you might want to know about the college. So we've got our recruitment inquiry forms there. We've got our scholarship tryout forms there that have the dates and time slots available. So if you want to sign up for a tryout, you can do so. I will preface that with, uh, the only students that are allowed to sign up for tryouts currently, as of right now, are graduating seniors and transfers. So if you're like a junior or a sophomore in high school and you're like, I really want to try out, I can put you on a list. And when that year comes around, I'll get a hold of you. But as of right now, it's just seniors and transfers. So, but yeah, Linktree is going to be the best place if you're interested in finding me. My Twitter is at GamesGrump, all one word. And yeah, no, I really appreciate you taking the time out to talk with me. I
Great,
really
Derek, man. That's great. See you in the next one, and we stay in touch.
sounds like a plan. Thank you.